cozy tea.
Oh, happy sip happens where we're sipping warm beverages today, both of us with mugs for episode 26.
I mean, sip should be happening with some hot toddies in here, but alas, this is literally just chamomile tea.
I'm still making my way through my morning coffee that I just put in the microwave for the second or third time. And then while I was at the microwave, I had to take a moment to sync my clocks. My stove and my microwave were a minute off from daylight savings reset of the clocks yesterday, and that wouldn't have been able to
People
fly
are
in my
floored that
brain.
we do not own a microwave, and I haven't had a microwave in like 10 years. And it's this
I don't think
exact,
that's
yeah.
wild.
Well, we were at our free art, Pete and Lauren's, our friends who live in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and she constantly is warming up her coffee in the microwave, and she was just flabbergasted that we don't have a microwave to reheat coffee. And it's like, yeah, I know. I just like make it in the morning. I put it in my Yeti, and it kind of stays good for like 30 minutes, and I just drink my coffee, and then I'm done with it. It's crazy.
I'm a sipper, and I don't drink a lot of coffee. But to be completely honest, my coffee has a purpose. It helps move my bowels. It helps me poop. Once it achieves that purpose, I don't like the flavor of coffee. I don't like the way it tastes. Like you can't. Oh, it's really deep down. You can't really see. I'm like a very, very Caucasian coffee drinker. It is very light on the scale of color. It is a vehicle for milk. That's it.
I'm
Like, I
opposite.
am not a dark coffee. I don't like the taste of it. I
No,
just like what it does for my body. So,
opposite. Love, yeah, yeah. I love a good coffee. I love it. So how you doing? How was your how was Halloween? How was the weekend?
oh, Halloween was fun. We went trick-or-treating. So we live on a dead-end street, and ever since we've lived here, it's been now 4 or 5 Halloweens. We've gotten 2 trick-or-treaters in those years. We just don't get trick-or-treaters. And I don't know if it's because of the dead-end street. I don't know if it's because we were among the first families with kids to move to our small street, so maybe it just wasn't part of the vibe.
Yeah.
So we just never really hang out. And I think we're getting to the point, because we have so many neighbors who have kids all around Emerson and Harry's age, that we could make it a thing and make our street. But also we all want to go out and trick-or-treat, so we don't want to be at our houses waiting for the neighbor kids to come
Yeah.
by. So we ended up going to a friend from school, one of Emerson's friends, to their house, and they had especially one strip. We just did like a big loop around their neighborhood, and one strip of the circle block was packed. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
full block party, jello shots for the adults, full size candy bars. It was the best. It was freezing cold, no streetlights anywhere, just pitch black dark, freezing cold. We had glow sticks wrapped around our stroller. Spencer had on his like light up running vest. We were just living it up. And this was our first time trick-or-treating, so we had fun. And now there's a whole
I
sack
forget
of
that.
candy next
I
to
know,
me.
I forget that. We were in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which was the ultimate Halloween experience I have ever had. We've gone to places around here, but for anyone who's not familiar with Ann Arbor, Michigan, it is this amazing college town. I'm kind of obsessed with it. We go every year, we go to Michigan games, but it's also so family friendly. But they have these cute old growth trees on these gorgeous blocks, these great craftsman homes, and it was a scene. They had candy luges coming out of windows. They had, I
Nice.
mean, it was incredible. It was a really good weekend. Max was Maverick. And I just left trying to think about, what does my professional journey look like that will help me live in Ann Arbor, Michigan? And could I live here? And I'm still in that phase of
You
every
love
time I
Ann
try.
Arbor.
I know. I love it because it's the Midwest, but it like doesn't feel too Midwesty. I love it that it's part of the prestigious university town. I love the
Yeah.
access to Lake Michigan. I love the access to lakes. Upper Peninsula of Michigan's great.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's also because that university hits every mark that I did not experience at Northwestern. Love Northwestern. Loved playing sports there, but if you want to play sports, you go to Michigan. And it was great. Great weekend. Michigan
Good.
beat
And you had
Purdue.
the big
So
football game that looked insane. You were posting pictures. It was a
it
packed
was so cool.
stadium.
The Big House is the biggest stadium in America. It houses, I think, up to like
Is it really?
biggest stadium. And so, like there's all this coverage about when Zach Bryan and John Mayer played earlier this summer. It's like, oh, biggest concert ever. Zach Bryan sells out the stadium. Great. I love Zach Bryan. But like any artist who goes to the big house and goes to Michigan Stadium and sells it out will arguably be the biggest crowd in history because the stadium
because
it
it's the biggest
houses the
stadium.
biggest.
Yeah.
And so last night was like 110,000 or Saturday night. It's just cool. The vibes are good. The energy's good. We sit in club seats. So, you have that little bit of a luxury experience, but it was great. It's a good weekend.
Yeah, I feel like if I was going to college football games, sitting in club seats, having that full VIP experience, I'd probably fall in love with the town as well. That sounds lovely.
Yes, but even if we didn't have the seats were good. Don't get me wrong; there was nice, but even if I was in like the upper corner, I still would arguably have the same level of excitement and fandom because you just feed off the energy of the. You
It's
can't help.
contagious.
It's so good,
Yeah.
and
It's like watching a marathon. Anytime I have watched the New York City Marathon, which was almost every
oh
fall
god,
living in
marathon
the
is so
city,
good.
you're sitting there, you're crying, you're like, should
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
this? I should do this, right? Like you just get so
yeah,
amped. You see proposals, you see all these amazing posters, you see parents that are being chased down by their kids who are cheering from the
so
side. I mean,
good.
it's just, oh, it's the best. It
And
is
I
the
wasn't even
best.
like we like tailgated a little bit, but like I wasn't even drinking because I was still seriously nursing the worst
Stevie
hangover
Nicks
of
hangover.
my life from that Stevie Nicks concert. I'm not joking. So like I'm like I
She
can't
got
even
the best of
look
you.
at a sip of anything. So I'm drinking hot chocolate on a Saturday night and still loving
Sounds
life.
lovely.
I know,
Sounds
sounds
lovely. We had
familiar.
hot chocolate this weekend. We pulled out, and I think this is a very old school, very niche specific thing, but Mr. Coffee, way back in the day, used to make something called the Cocomotion, which is literally a like coffee machine type thing that you put your cocoa powder in and you put milk, water, however you want to make it, and it blends it all up and heats it to perfection. It's the best. We found one at our Goodwill like 2 summers ago or 2 winters ago, and it is the best. We love it, but I don't make it anymore. So it's very hard to come by. But if you are a cocoa consumer on the reg during the fall and winter months, I highly recommend popping on eBay. They're available on eBay. Mr. Coffee Cocomotion.
I'm very much into all of the almond nogs. So I went to Whole Foods yesterday and they have all like the
Okay.
seasonal Khalifa, the Khalifa does like the almond milk and oat
Mm-hmm.
milks. They have like a Hiracha vegan drink. Then there's like it's
I
like
love a
vegan
good
nog.
horchata.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like a vegan nod. I don't know. Like
Spencer's going
that's
through a chai phase right now. We have a whole lot of chai in our house, which is just the best smell. I love that smell. It's
so
fantastic.
speaking of chai and like seasonal, is your Christmas tree up now? It's
The
after
tree itself is
Halloween.
not up. So we have a little, the ceramic tree with the light bulbs that a lot of people have. It's like the old school Christmas decoration. We have that up over there. I'm sitting with my plaid blanket. We've already got our pillows swapped out for the reds and greens. We have what else did we do? We did the rug at the front door and at the fireplace, and we have our small Charlie Brown tree put up upstairs, but the main tree itself has not been put up. And I asked Spencer, I was like, are we going to wait till like November
I
15th? And he was like, no, like November
no
3rd. Like
oh
it's going up
really?
this week.
See,
I was like, all
mine
right.
is Thanksgiving. Like that's my limit. Like think day after Thanksgiving we'll put stuff up. That's just like
That used to be my norm, but I am
you're
someone
putting a
who
Christmas tree up
gets
for Thanksgiving. Before Thanksgiving, your
I
Christmas tree
get
will be
so
up.
much joy from Christmas decorations. I'm like, why would I deprive myself of that? And this started a
Yep.
couple years ago when a very close family friend of ours passed away. I want to say October 30th or October, like the very end of October. And I was like, you know what? I need some extra joy this year. Fuck it. I'm putting everything up November 1st. Like we're listening to the music, we're putting everything
Do it.
up. And that year I was like, this is lovely. I all respect to Thanksgiving. Like my Christmas season is like November 1st to November 26th. Thanksgiving gets November 27th and then Christmas restarts again. Like I will dedicate the day, but we will still have our Christmas decorations up because it makes me happy. So why not?
I
I love it.
honestly, you do you.
Why deprive
Like
myself?
I completely. Yep.
So I'm doing it.
Um.
I'm doing it. We already watched a
See,
Christmas movie. Oh, we really broke the seal.
what'd you watch
We
already?
watched Klaus.
Oh, see, you do more Christmas movies than I do. Like, can you believe
Such a
I
good
saw
one.
Elf for the first time like 5 years ago? I feel like
It's
you've been watching that every
very
year for like
I
20
don't understand
years.
how we're
I
friends.
know, I
It
know. I'm
makes no
sorry.
sense.
That is actually like a guilty admission.
Well, and you know this because you were a part of it, but I am part elf. Like we got married December 8th, and we specifically picked that date because I wanted it to be during the holiday season. So we got the decorations, we got, the full vibes, but not so close to Christmas that celebrating our anniversary interferes with celebrating Christmas. So December 8th, perfect, spread it out. Not intentionally, but the day we got married also happened to be SantaCon in
Oh God,
New
I forgot
York.
about that.
So all of our guests, as we were like getting ready, were texting us like, "Why are there Santa Clauses
Oh
all
my
over the city?"
God.
Which is just ridiculous. We went to a bar for the after party afterwards, and it was just drunk Santas everywhere, which was just phenomenal. Our rehearsal dinner was an ugly Christmas sweater theme pizza
Yes.
party.
Yes.
We love the holidays. We love the holidays. So it's always been a part of us. It's in my blood. It's in the kids' blood. It's just Spencer's gotten on board. He loves it.
Your engagement was it no rehearsal dinner or engagement party was the ugly sweater.
Rehearsal dinner the night before the wedding.
Rehearsal.
Yeah.
That was the night before. And that was at a pizza. Was that at Topo? A pizza place?
It
Where was that
was.
again?
It was a place called Topo. You
Topo.
decided to show up without an ugly Christmas sweater, but thankfully, being the wonderful, thoughtful bride I brought extras and gave you one of a
Why did I
unicorn
do that?
vomiting glitter. You couldn't find anything, you said.
Was I being too cool for school? Because I
Probably.
I was pregnant, so maybe I think I had like
It
a
was
Chicago
it was
Bears
tough
one.
to find. I gave you one of Spencer's because it definitely
Maybe
didn't.
that was it.
It might have been the pregnancy. You were very pregnant. You were like 6 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but despite that pregnancy, I had so much fun at Bounce for your after party. I just have videos like as this like big old pregnant woman in my dress, like
You
dancing and raging.
standing
Like
on the booths, like you were
it's so
going
much fun.
you got some sort. It was
I don't
definitely.
know.
It's the like post first trimester, I have energy again vibe where you're like living it up as a pregnant woman.
Yes.
And you looked fabulous. You were in this beautiful sequin dress.
It's a
Oh, it
good
was great.
dress. It's a great
It was
dress.
a great dress.
Good wedding.
It was a fun wedding. Fun wedding. But yeah,
All
we
the New
love
York
the
vibes.
holidays. We love the holidays. We love the holidays in the city and making our own little traditions. We're now trying to plan for Thanksgiving, which is so much fun because my husband's brother and his girlfriend come from Florida. We love having them, but it makes it a little more challenging because one of them is vegetarian but doesn't eat tofu. That's a new addition I just found out. And then one of them is gluten-free. So I am putting together a Thanksgiving menu and have to make some accommodations, which is totally doable. But just everything I'm like, oh, this would be fun. I have to kind of go back and be like, all right, would they actually be able to eat this? Because I don't want to just like fill the table and be like, you guys can have the green beans and turkey. Who knows?
Oh, but I love Thanksgiving.
It'll be fun. I'm excited.
But I was thinking of other New York traditions, whether it's SantaCon, Christmas, and all the things. We're recording this on Monday, November 3rd. Yesterday, Sunday, November 2nd, was the New York City Marathon. And so when I was thinking about what have I seen on social, like, it is just such a fun cultural moment for the city. I don't cry. I cry every time I see a seeing impaired runner running with a guide, the last people crossing the finish line. I made a mark on my calendar to see when the non-guaranteed lottery is for entry into the New York City Marathon, which is not until like February for me to sign up. There's no chance in hell I'll probably do the New York City Marathon. I'm so concerned about the logistics of like the crowds prior to and Staten Island Ferry. I'm like, no, thank you. I did sign up for Chicago. We'll see if I get in. I'm just like so overwhelmed in a good way with all New York marathon content and the runners.
We were
And
also in the thick of Team USA, which I think like you're in that sports team vibe.
but like even if I was still like doing Verizon or L'Oreal stuff,
it gets you
every time. Yeah. Like
they're smart not to open that lottery up until February, because if they opened it up on November 3rd, the day after, they would be flooded with all of everyone who's like, I want to do this. Oh my gosh, I've got the bug.
They should do that, because when you apply, you get a non-refundable $200, $300 entry fee. So,
could be good for business.
Yes, I'm actually surprised they don't do that, because they would be flooded with people like me who are like, there has to be a reason why they don't do it and they wait, but
probably because they need a break. Like, we just put together and executed an amazing citywide 5-borough, and I saw actually people who have run it multiple years said that this was far better organized than past years have been in terms of transportation and flow and all of that. So they clearly did a great job, but I think there's never been a part of me. I've run a few half marathons. There's never been a part of me that's like, I should do a marathon.
I think it's
I
just the
just don't.
accomplishment and knowing, like, it's one athletic feat that I've never done, and I know I could do it. I know my body is not built for it. I know that it would fuck my body up, but I still am like, every time that stuff comes around, I'm like, God, it's the one thing. Because I know I'll never do another half Ironman because I can't train for swimming anymore. Like, that's done. I'm not going to train. But running is that one thing that is in my control. So I keep it
Yeah.
as a pipe dream. I know that if you trained with me, I just would leave you for dead on the side like that.
Yeah, as you've
Our
done. As
iconic
you've done.
13.1 in Brooklyn, which I
I
will
don't think
never
we've
live
ever told
down.
that story. Have
Go
we told that
ahead.
story? All right. So Stefany and I were doing a half marathon in Brooklyn, and she lived in Brooklyn at the time. I lived in the city, so I spent the night with her the night before. Woke up that morning of the half marathon, and I had a bloody nose, and we were like, "Oh, that's weird," but like, fine, just a bloody nose. Didn't think much of it. We start running the race, and I don't even remember how far into the race it was. I don't think it was very far, like
Mm-mm.
4 miles maybe. We were running together side by side, and I was like, hey, kind of nudged her and said, I'm going to pass out. And she was like, okay, and just kept running. She didn't know that actually meant I'm going to pass out. She thought I was just like, I need a break. I literally walked to the side and faint on the side of the race. And Stephanie didn't find me until afterwards in an ambulance, where I refused to let them take me to the hospital because I was like a broke 20-something. I was like, I'm not paying a bill to go to the hospital. I'm fine. I'm not passed out anymore. I'm conscious. And she and her husband, I don't think he ever married yet. I don't even
No,
remember.
no, yeah, no.
Then boyfriend came
Yeah.
and picked me up, and
We took you, I remember picking you up though. Did we drive you home to Manhattan or do you ever go to the hospital
no.
or
So
no?
this is
No.
another a wonderful friendship part of the story, is that you were like, she'll be fine. She can take the subway, and Craig was like, no, let's drive her home. And so Craig combined driving me home with stopping to pick up some chairs you guys had purchased in Soho, and did like a
A what?
combined
That's like that's
errand
actually very
thing.
unlike. That's well, in my
But
defense.
I truly think you just didn't understand what, like, that I'd actually passed out, and because then you also found me. There was a lot of like there's traffic and people and road closures every time there's a big race like that. So I had to like get out of the ambulance and find you guys by a tree at a random road, and so you didn't see me until I was already walking and up and fine and functional again. So you were like, she's fine. She can take the subway. And I was also insisting on taking the subway. I was like, it's fine. I'll be fine. And Craig was the one who was like,
Of
guys,
course.
no, I'm going to
Yeah.
drive her into the city. I'll drive her home. She's not getting on the subway. And
I
we were
do
both like,
remember
it's no
driving you
big deal.
home. But I'm wondering what yeah, I wonder why I was so like no, because that's again, I feel
I
like
think
that's very
also because
unlike me.
I was saying that because I was like, I'm
But
fine,
I
whatever.
have this picture of you in the back seat of our car. You had your shoulders strapped. You had like shoulder tape on. Am I
I had my
imagining
shoulder
this?
taped. Yeah. Because this was
Yeah, your shoulder was
obviously
taped.
pre-shoulder surgery.
Um, Yes, so that is our I mean, Craig, like, literally still brings this up where, he's like, "Well, Stephanie's never gonna run with you because she's gonna break her leg," and you're like, "Oh, you're fine. You're gonna," you know?
Just hop along.
But again, it's
No,
like,
it
you
was
know, when
fun.
someone's running with you, like, "Oh, I'm gonna pass out." I'm literally thinking, like, we're literally 4 miles in. Like, she's probably gonna get some water. Okay, cool.
Of course.
You know, and,
Why would
like,
you assume that actually meant I'm
I don't
going to
know.
pass out? Like
And I'm like,
that,
"I'm gonna I was feeling good. I'm like, "I'll continue." I'm like, she doesn't
yeah.
care because it wasn't like I don't know. We just were running it for fun and, um but yes.
And we weren't like hauling ass or anything. We weren't going we weren't pushing it. We were just kind of like running along, but lo and behold. Yeah, that's the last time we've run together.
Is that the last half marathon you've done? Last and only? No, you've done
I did a few prior to that. I think that's the last time I did one. Because I mean, there are many athletic feats that I have not tackled, and I don't intend to tackle them, and I'm okay with that. But you have a very different athleticism and approach to those sort of things than I do, where I'm like, I will gladly
but you're
cheer
game for
you on.
anything. You were the first person that was like, "Oh, yeah, game. You guys need a relay person for the New York City
Totally.
triathlon? Totally, let's do it."
Yeah. Yeah. I love trying things, but like, no, not going to happen.
Yeah.
Another wonderful thing I saw on socials this week was that they had their first wedding at Notre Dame in 30 years since the big fire 5 years ago, where they had to do a bunch of renovations. And it was for one of the carpenters who helped rebuild everything after the big fire. That was a lovely
That's
feel good
nice.
story.
That's a feel-good story. The feel-good stories
Yeah.
that I've been getting served are feel-good with a tinge of sadness, which is everything, again, still related to SNAP and how people are having food pantries on their front yards for people
Mhm.
who are stocking up. And,
Mhm.
there are good Samaritans who are coming by and sticking, cash in people's mailboxes to help continue to fuel the community food pantries. And so like that's been like overwhelmingly in my TikTok and Instagram is all things related to how people can continue to help people. And
Which is
uh
good. It always reminds me anytime something like this happens, it reminds me of the famous Mr. Rogers quote where he says anytime there's a catastrophe or something bad happens in the world to look for the helpers.
I know I love that.
Just the perspective.
Yeah.
Um, I hesitate to say this because I know my husband is going to listen to this episode, and he of all people doesn't need to hear this, but there was a recent study that found that people who have 4 kids are less stressed than everyone else as parents.
Because maybe they all just take care of each other. And it's like, what's one more?
Because by the time you have 4, you're less focused on perfection and more focused on connection, so it's more quality time, and you're more intentional about the way you interact with your kids, so it makes it less stressful to be a parent, supposedly,
Less
according to these
focused
studies,
on, yeah, it's just less focused on perfection, more focused on just keeping them alive. You got four in
right?
there.
Survival.
Survival.
So,
I
4 or more. I don't know if they factored in the or more. They just said parents of 4.
So this weekend, and we could talk about this openly because she wouldn't mind. So my friend is also, she's pregnant with her third IVF, and we were talking about older, 44, and we were talking about embryos and thinking about if we had the surplus of grade A quality embryos, like would you donate your embryos? Would you have other
That's
women,
us. You're
yeah,
describing us.
have your babies? And it's just, yeah. And I was like, I bet Stefany and Spencer would.
We haven't made that decision yet, but it's something that I think about often because the more time you spend in this infertility IVF club, the more stories you hear, the more connections you make, the more people you interact with. And there are so many families and women that I have met who aren't able to retrieve their own embryos or embryos that are of a high enough quality to be a viable pregnancy or have done so many transfers of their own embryos that they just haven't stuck. That I'm like, if I'm in a position to, and there's no guarantee that our embryos would stick either, but if I'm in a position to potentially give someone else a little
Hmm.
bit of hope for their family planning journey.
Is there like an open, is it like, not like adoption, but then do you give the parents the option to find the genetic
I
family
think there's different
members?
ways to do it. It's also probably really difficult nowadays to make it completely closed because you have
Mm-hmm.
things like
Mm-hmm.
23andMe where,
Yeah.
you are in a database and suddenly you're like, "Oh, I have a sister in Ohio." I do know, so there's a lesbian couple who are parents of one of my kids' friends, and I was talking to them about it because they had used a sperm donor, and it was an anonymous sperm donor, but they have a Facebook group of all the other people who have used this sperm donor so they can kind of compare medical history and compare notes, like, has
Hmm.
anyone else's kid shown signs of XYZ or, those kind of things.
How
And
did, oh,
I know, I
sorry,
so many
I
interesting
just,
questions.
well, because like, how do you even connect with other couples that have used the same sperm
So
donor?
I think through the fertility clinic, they let
Uh-huh.
them
They let
connect with
them.
each other while the sperm donor themselves stays anonymous. However, someone ended up tracking down the sperm donor and finding them because it's got to be so difficult to actually maintain anonymity in that way with modern technology and the ability to do these kind of like
Mm-hmm.
DNA analysis and all of that. So yeah, it's really, really interesting to think about. Hadn't even thought about the sperm donor side of it. Obviously, my sperm donor is my husband, and he did a great job. We appreciate his donation. Um, but yeah, we were talking about that and about how they were going to potentially reach out to him, and I was like, I don't know if I would do that. Like, if he chose to
Yeah.
be anonymous,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
even though you figured out who he is, and It's just so interesting to learn about the genetic makeup. And I would assume if we were doing a donation, there would be a big deep dive into our family medical histories and
Mm-hmm.
who we are,
Mm-hmm.
because people would want
Mm-hmm.
to know before they're
Mm-hmm.
implanting an embryo. Like, just because it worked for us doesn't mean it's going to work for them, or it's going to be,
Yeah.
something that is part of their family planning journey. So yeah, it's a lot to think
It's wild.
about.
Yeah.
Or
Crazy.
there's always the option to donate them to research so
Mm-hmm.
that IVF
Could
can,
do that.
improve and get better for future generations without having babies out there.
I see 4 in the Elliots. I don't know. I just see 4. I just do. It's like, honestly, it's like, what's one more? Like, at that stage, if you're lucky, if your body can do it, which
I
it
mean,
can,
studies
you
say
know.
it will be less stressful. So if the studies say so,
5 gets a little hairy. 4, I think, I think 4.
I
I know
just
you probably
don't.
want 8. You probably could have 8.
I would love to meet all of them. I say this all the time. If I had the money and my body would allow, I would love to meet all the genetics of all of it, what they look like, their personalities. Like, we have 11 remaining viable embryos. There's definitely
Which
like a
is
sociopath in
wild.
there. There's a
Yeah, for sure.
sociopath, and there's probably like a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Like, there's a whole spectrum of who knows what going on in the pool that we have left. But I will not be having 11 more children. I can tell you that for sure.
No, I mean, 11's a little excessive, but
I don't know. What would we
I'd try
drive?
4.
A school bus?
Yeah. What do people drive with 11 kids? Who
I
has
think you
11
have to
kids?
homeschool at that point. Oh, I am not
Ugh.
wired for that. That would be Spencer's dream. He would love to homeschool and teach American history and cello.
He would teach cello. He is.
He
Yeah.
would. He would have his own
Does he
orchestra.
even play cello? No,
He
he would learn
does.
it.
Of
Does
course he
he?
does. Yeah,
Oh God.
of course he
It
does.
is. Amazing. Cello. Cello. Mom joke.
Mom joke, dad joke. We have a very fun guest coming next week, and I'm excited about her. And then, so we're on like a guest spree. We have a guest, then just us, a little palate cleanser, and then another guest, I think, right before Thanksgiving. And then our next guest might be Tiny Elliott
I can't wait.
whenever he makes his appearance.
I can't wait for it.
Record
He's
live
coming.
from the hospital as I get my foot massage from the labor and delivery wing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cool, man. All
Great.
right, well,
Short and sweet. We did it.
We're here. All right. I will see you on Friday at my home, maybe.
Cheers. See you
We'll
at your
talk.
home. Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye.